trade, given that the proportion of trade in our economy, in everybody's economy has risen over the last 20, 30 years, it plays a very important role. So I think it's helpful useful to view this, what is going on in a historical context. So I will just take a few minutes to put this in perspective. So in the historical context, we can trace some of this turmoil back about 7 years. Following the US NSS, or the National Security Strategy, December 77. This was followed, so this came in December 2017, and the US raised tariffs in 4 or 5 tranches, tranches you call it, or steps during 2018, starting from January 2018 to December 2018. So since then, this issue has been there. It's not a new issue, and I think it's helpful to look at that context. So a few economic security strategists saw this as the beginning of new era, of high-tech decoupling and partial economic decoupling between the 2 largest economies in the world, which you know are USA and China. Now, this has implications for the rest of the world, including India. So these strategists anticipated that the value supply chains controlled by these 2 superpowers would gradually separate over the next 10-15 years. Actually, if you look at it in an optimistic way, it's been much slower than that. If you are a pessimist, you wonder why it has been not been faster. So the reason is, of course, it's happened in fits and starts. Over the period of 2009 to 24, there were things in the US like the CHIPS Act and control on technologies, non-tariff barriers, and sets of tariffs. So in some sense, it has given the world time to figure this out and prepare for it. But as I said, there were only a few people who really recognized where we might be going. Now, what is the consequence? What do we know has happened so far? So there are a number of research papers which show that China's share of US imports has declined, and that of 5 countries, and different studies show different people on top and in the middle, but I just named them in no particular order. The 5 countries which have seen an increase in the share of US imports corresponding to China's share decline are Taiwan, Vietnam, Mexico, Thailand, and India. So the way I would put it is that the challenge for us is how to go from what might be called China plus 5 to China plus 1, right? Being a large country, and in the beginning we thought China plus 1 meant India, but it's China plus 5. So that is the challenge for us. Can we rise to the top of the gainers? And that's not an easy task. So what is it? As you're all aware, the Indian government for the last 5 years or so have been actively pursuing FTAs, BTAs with economies, but there is a strategy behind it which perhaps is not always clear to everybody. And that is really to focus on countries which have a large share of world manufactured imports, because that is where we will gain by exporting if there is a market. And Dr. Sahu has, in the context of textiles, shown you some of the areas which have these large markets, but we are not there. So looking at it from a macro perspective, which I'm giving you, so we have to target or look at BTAs, FTAs with those with countries with large share of world manufactured exports, which are the source of a large proportion of FDI, and which are the sources, headquarters of MNCs, which can act as lead anchors. The lead anchor issue has also been mentioned. Now it turns out these go together, and the top countries in this context are, or countries or economies, are USA, EU, Japan, UK, and South Korea. As you know, we already have FTAs with Japan and South Korea. So that is one of the reasons why there is so much interest in FTAs and BTAs with USA and EU.